Welcome to our session today. I'm your instructor, CPA Aringo Frederick. So in our class today, my good students, I want us to look at labor remuneration. Remember, we started with this concept. We introduced the whole concept of labor in our previous class. And we've done a lot of questions also in relation to labor. So in our today's class, there's a concept that I want us to grasp keenly. And ideally, this is a concept whereby I'm given a group bonus scheme. So in our class today, we are going to handle a situation where we are given a group bonus scheme. So it is labor remuneration. Labor remuneration. And today's class, we'll be dealing with the aspect of group bonus scheme. Group bonus scheme. Group bonus scheme. So ideally, this is where probably we are working as a group, and also you'll find that we are being remunerated. The benefits that you are earning, we are earning as a group. So that is what I want us to consider today, having in mind that already we have the basis of working out any problems for labor. If just a recap on what we did, we mentioned that for us to determine our gross wages payable, gross wages, that is total, we'll be talking of the following. We normally talk of the following. That should be the aspect of basic pay plus overtime pay plus bonus. This is what we mentioned. For us to determine our gross wages, we normally talk of basic pay plus overtime plus bonus, plus bonus, plus bonus. So this is a question that we're going to handle. I'm going to share it on the screen so that all of us, you can be able to see that. So this is our question, my good students, the one that you were asked. That is our question there. That is our question that I want us to handle. That's the question that I want us to handle, which will assist us to understand the whole concept of bonus, group bonus scheme. And remember, you can get all these videos also for the previous classes that we've done in our phone application. For those probably who are not seeing us on the phone application, maybe you're viewing us via YouTube or even Facebook or any other social media, we have all these videos in our phone application. You can download our phone application from Play Store and you are going to get all these videos. So this is a question that you are looking at. This is what you are told. Blade Limited and retails, Blade Limited manufactures and retails 3 products, namely A, B, and C. The company employs 60 direct workers who work under a group bonus scheme. The company engages 3 grades of workers who are paid a bonus on the excess of time allowed over time taken. The company engages 3 graders of workers who are paid a bonus on the excess of time allowed over time taken. Okay, the bonus is paid at 75%. The bonus is paid at 75% of the workers' base rate. Mark that clearly. The bonus is paid at 75% of the workers' base rate and is shared by the workers in proportion to the time spent on the work. The following production data has been extracted from the company's records for the month of October 2016. I'm given product A, B, and C. We are given units produced. We are given time allowed per unit. Then we are given grade of workers, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. Number of direct workers, tumepatiwa pale. Rate per hour, we are given. Hours worked per worker, I'm also given here. Then this is what you are asked. Required percentage of hours saved to hours worked. Bonus due to the group. Gross earnings due to the group. Gross earnings due to the group. So this is a question I'm given, my good students. This is a question that I am given, and I'm supposed to work it out. Where are we going to start from? Where are we going to start from? So the main element that we are supposed to do first of all is to ask ourselves, how do we normally determine our bonus? To determine the aspect of bonus time, because it is from bonus time that I'm going to come up with a bonus pay. We normally look at this case. We normally compare the time allowed. We normally compare the time allowed and time worked. Time worked. So you'll find that time allowed and time worked, that should give us what? Our bonus pay, or rather our bonus time. If I was given, say, like 200 hours, and we've worked, say, for like 150 hours, so you'll find that the time that you've saved, this bonus time is just kind of is coming from the time that you've saved. This will come from the time saved. That is where our bonus will come, from the time that you've saved. So you'll find that in this event I'll have saved 50 hours. So I'll be paid that amount that I'm being paid on the time that we've saved is what we are terming it as bonus. Is what you're terming it as bonus in this regard of labor remuneration. In this regard of labor remuneration. So we've gone through that question. Now I want us to determine the time allowed, then we compare with the time worked. I want us to determine the time allowed, then we compare with the time worked. So what was the time allowed in this question, my good students? What was the time allowed in this question of ours? Time allowed in this question of ours, what were we given? What were we given? Just look at that question. Again, I'm going to share it so that it should be very engaging. You should understand each and every concept that we are looking at here. So, to determine the time allowed, I was given a chance to produce 3 products, the units produced, and time allowed per unit, and time allowed, and time allowed per unit, and time allowed per unit. So, working it out, we are going to take, that is product A, B, and C. So I'm taking product A, B, and C, as you can clearly see it there. Then I'm having units produced. You can see units produced, I'm given 320, 640, and 1200. So I'm having 320, we do have our 320, 640, and 1200, right? These are units produced. These are units produced. These are units produced. I'm given there. Units produced, I'm given here. Units. Then we multiply by what was the time given per unit. The time given per unit, my good students, you can clearly see here, the time given per unit, time allowed per unit, and I'm given in minutes. That should be 63, 120, and 100. So I'm having 63, product A 63, product B I'm given 120, right? You can check it out, I'm given 120, just sharing it here for us to have it clearly. I'm given 120 and 100. 120 and 100. So I'm given 120 and 100. So if we multiply this should give us in minutes. Time allowed in minutes. Time allowed in minutes. Time allowed in minutes, that should give us how many minutes for product A. Product A, my good students, we should be having 320 by 63. I'm having 20,000. 160. 640 by 120. I'm having 76. 800. 1200 by 100, I'm having 120,000. Right? We divide by 60, we divide by 60, we divide by 60 to give us what? Time allowed in hours. To give us time allowed in hours. So therefore we should be talking of 2160 divided by 60. That should give us 336 hours. 76,800 divided by 60. That should give us 1280 hours. And the last one, we should be talking of 120,000. We divide by 60. That should give us 2,000 hours. So what will be our total hours allowed? These are total hours allowed. We should be talking of 2,000 plus 1280 plus 336 to give me a figure of 3,616. 3,616 hours. We have determined the time allowed. We have determined the time allowed. What about the time taken, my good students? So that should take us to determination of the time taken. Time taken. Time taken. Time taken or time worked. So the time taken, if we can clearly look at our question here, this is what I was given. Grade of workers. I'm given grade 1, 2, and 3. So I'm given workers, grade of workers. I'm given grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. Grade of workers, I'm given grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. What about the aspect of number of direct hours? Number of direct hours, you can clearly see we do have what? We do have 28 and 32. We do have 28 and 32. So I'm having 28 and 32. 28 and 32. These are number of workers. And each worker for each grade, we are working for how many minutes given? Each workers, we are working for how many hours? How many hours or minutes in this case? So if we can look at this question, we can clearly see that hours worked per worker. Grade 1, I'm given 30. Grade 2, I'm given 64. And grade 3, I'm given 50. So have 30, 64, and 50. So 30, 64, and 50. These are hours worked. So hours worked, I'm having that. I'm having 30, 64, and 50 by each worker. So like if you can look at grade 1, we have 20 workers, each was working for 30. Grade 2, 8, each was working for 64. Grade 3, 32, each was working for 50. So in that case, we can clearly determine time taken. This is total time taken. Time taken, the first one, you should be talking of 30 by 20 to give us 600 hours. Grade 2, 64 by 8 to give us 512. Grade 3, 32 by 50 to give us 1600. So determining the total time taken, we should be talking of 600 plus 512 plus 1600, right? So I'm having 2,712 hours. 2,712 hours. So I'm having 2,712 hours. That is what we do have. So the question is, the moment we do have this, can we now determine the time saved? Because time saved, we said we are going to compare the time allowed minus time taken. So my time saved confidently, I can come and determine our time saved here by taking 3616 minus answer to give us 904 hours. So I'm having 904 hours. That is taking 3616 minus 2712 should give us the time saved to be 904 hours. And ideally, this is where our bonus will also come from. This is where our bonus will also come from. The moment I do have that, my good students, let us proceed and determine the time saved, or rather the aspect of this question you are asked to determine now the percentage of hours saved to hours worked. The percentage of hours saved to hours worked. So determining the percentage of hours saved, so talk of percentage of hours saved, percentage of hours saved to time worked, percentage of hours saved. So percentage of hours saved to time worked, to time worked, to time worked. That one now at this point will be very simple, because already we have determined our time saved. So therefore I should be talking of 904 hours, the time that we've saved, to the time worked, which our time worked to determine it to be 2712, of course, by 100. That should give us what percentage? I should be having 904 divided by 2712. So I should be having 33.33%. So 33.33%. So that should be the percentage of that is the percentage of hours saved to time worked. And that is what the examiner wanted us to determine on the first question. What about the next question? The next question you can clearly see. Let us look at that question. Bonus due to the group. Bonus due to the group. Bonus due to the group. So you'll find that many a times students will see that and they will be like, whoa, what is this? Or rather, how am I going to handle that? How am I going to handle that? How am I going to handle that? That is very simple, my good students, because it will be just upon us. It will be upon us to determine the component of each grade of workers, to determine the time of bonus or the time saved to each grade of workers. So this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. So we are required to determine, maybe I can pose that question, you can write that question here, where we are told to determine bonus due to the group. Bonus due to the group. So bonus due to the group. Bonus due to the group. Bonus due to the group. How will you determine this? How will you determine this bonus due to the group? Remember, we had different category of workers, right? We had different categories of workers. So I need us to determine what will be the proportion of time saved to each category of worker. We had group 1, group 2, group 3. That is what we had. So my good students, I want us to determine what will be the proportion of the time saved for each group. What will be the proportion of the time saved for each group? And how are we going to work it out? Like in this case, group 1, we noted that they worked for 600 hours, time taken. Of the total we had 2712. So I'm having 2712. What about group 2? Group 2, they worked for 512, right? So I'm having 512 of 2712. What about group 3? 1600 of 2712. A good question would be, what was the time saved? How many hours have we determined? The time saved, we determined it was 904 hours. So by 904, by 904, by 904. So this should give us each group saved how many hours, proportion of time saved to each group. 612 divided by 2712 divided by 2712 times 904. I'm having 200. 512 we divide by 2712 times 904. We do have that should be roughly like 171 hours. Then the other case we should be having 1600. We divide by 2712 times 904. We should be having that should be 533. 533. Again, that should take us to what? That should take us to 904. We can confirm 200 plus 171 plus 533. It should take us back to 904. Now, what were we being paid? The bonus. What were we told in relation to the bonus, my good students? What were we told in relation to bonus? How are we paying this bonus? I share the question again. Go with me. Where we are told, look at this case. The bonus is paid 75% of the workers' base rate and is shared by the workers in proportion to the time spent. So I'm going to pay this bonus at 75% of the rate, right? Of the rate. So it's as if I'll be talking of each, I'll be having 75%, 75%, 75%. We multiply by the rate of each group. We multiply by the basic rate for each group, the basic rate for each group. And the basic rate for each group we had, this is what we were given. I'm having group 1, 300 to 70 and to 40. So I'm having 300 to 70 and 240 and 240 and 240. 240. So that case, that should give us how much, my good student? That should give us how much? The first case I should be talking of, I'm having 200, we multiply by 0.75 times 300. So therefore we should be talking of how much? 45,000. 171 we multiply by 0.75 times 270. That should give us how much? 34 627.5. Then the other case we should be talking of how much, my good students? That should be 0.75. Talk of 533. We multiply by 0.75 times 240 to give me a figure of how much? 95 940. 95 940. So basically that is what we should be having. That is what we should be. That is what we should be having. That is what we should be having. So that is what we should be having, my good students. So that is how we can determine bonus due to the group. So you can clearly come and say group 1, that was the amount of bonus. Group 2, amount of bonus. Group 3, amount of bonus. So ideally, that is what you're supposed to do up to that point. What about the last question? The last question you are told, gross earnings due to the group. Gross earnings due to the group. Gross earnings due to the group. Now that's a very good question. How will you determine the gross earnings due to the group? How will you determine the gross earnings due to the group? That will be very simple because we have each group and I'm having a component of bonus. So therefore this is what we are going to do. That is a gross earnings due to the group. Gross earnings due to the group. So talk of gross earnings due to the group. Gross earnings. Gross earnings. Gross earnings due to the group. Gross earnings due to the group. So this is gross earnings. Gross earnings. Gross earnings due to the group. And for gross earnings, I believe you had looked at it here. The gross wages I should be having the basic pay plus overtime plus bonus. It is only this time round we didn't have overtime. So talk of group 1. What will you be having? What will you be having? So I'm having hours that we worked. In that case, we had hours that we worked for each employee, or total we had 600 hours, right? So I'm having 600 hours. Each hour we were paying how much? Each hour for group A, we can see we are paying 300. So I'm having by 300 plus bonus that we received 45,000 for the group. Correct? Come to G2, group grade 2. Grade 2, we worked for 512 hours. So I'm having 512. We were paying 270 on that grade. So by 270 plus the bonus, which is 34,627.5. What about grade 3? I'm having hours here, which is 1600, right? Worked 1,600 by hours are paying how much? 240. We add bonus 95,940. So therefore, this should give us our gross earnings to the group. Gross earnings to the group. So our gross earnings to the group, we should be talking of how much? So it should be talking of the first case for group 1. We should be talking of 600 by 300. We add 45,000, right? So therefore, we should be talking of how much? 225,000. So 225,000, correct? What about the other one? We should be talking of 512 by 270. We are going to add 34,627.5. So therefore, we should be talking of 172,867.5. Then the last one, we should be talking of 1,600 by 240. We are going to add 95,940. So therefore, we should be talking of 479,940. And that is what you are required to do. If this question could have gone further and asked us to determine the amount that each worker on the group will go with, also we could have determined that one. We could have determined that one. So in simple terms, my good students, in simple terms, we can clearly see what the examiner wanted us to determine, and that is what we've done. That is what we've done. So as I was saying, you'll find that also at times you can be asked, say, to determine the amount that each worker will go with at home. So in such a scenario, I could have just taken the total, we divide by the number of employees in that group. The total we divide by the number of employees in that group, and the total we divide by the number of employees in that group. That would have given us the amount of pay for each worker in each group. And ideally, that is how you can work the bonus scheme. That is how you can work, that is a labor remuneration and a group bonus scheme. For more of these videos, you can go to our phone application on Play Store. Just download it and select if it's management accounting. Ideal for those students probably who are doing BCOM or who are doing BBM, who are doing CPA, who are doing ACCA. Ideally, it has covered the concept because they are usually the same. You'll find that if you master this concept, you'll be in a very good position. So to that juncture, thank you so much. I was your instructor, CPA Aringo Frederick.